Welcome to my talk, everyone. I guess by this talk, you'll all be expert in cryptojacking. MineSweeper, an in-depth look into driver mining and its defense. Oh, maybe I should stay here. 2017 can be considered as the year of cryptocurrencies. So the total market capitalization of these currencies went from 15 billion US dollar to 800 billion US dollar. Unfortunately, it brought this new threat with it, cryptojacking, which soon displaced ransomware to become the most popular threat. Some website owners started using this as an alternative to show bogus advertisements to the visitors. Right, so they just started mining users using visitors' computational power as an alternative to showing advertisements. That's good. But at the same time, some cyber criminals started targeting cloud environments, monetizing on their CPU power, also regular user to monetize on the CPU power. So driver mining, also known as cryptojacking, is a web-based attack that steals your electricity, computational power to mine cryptocurrency. Why is it bad? They don't ask your consent and your system performance may degrade. It drains out your battery and it might affect your longevity of your device itself. And yes, the existing defenses such as CPU usage heuristics, URL blacklisting can be easily defeated by throttling CPU usage and randomizing the URLs, as explained by the previous talk. Okay, so we want to provide a better detection tool by first studying this threat in depth, and we did that by analyzing Alexa's top 1 million website, and through this large-scale analysis, we found 1,735 try-by mining websites, 20 active campaigns that were spreading through compromised websites, ad networks, torrent portals, and video stream third-party services. And all these driver mining cases were mining CryptoNight-based currency. So we use all this knowledge, the knowledge that we acquired from this large-scale analysis to build a better detection tool, MineSweeper. There are two catalysts that triggered this cyber threat. The first was the advent of privacy-oriented CPU mineable cryptocurrencies. In other words, CryptoNight-based cryptocurrencies. Unlike Bitcoin, these currencies can be mined using CPU computation on CPU, most efficient way compared to the specialized ASIC devices. And second catalyst was the advancement in the web technology itself. So Mozilla proposed ASM.js in 2013 to speed up the JavaScript performance. And in 2017, World Wide Web Consortium introduced WebAssembly, which allows users to execute code in the browser at native speed. So all this led people to revisit the idea of mining cryptocurrency in the browser. CoinHive was first to provide this as a service, an in-browser mining service. The developer just have to embed these APIs provided by this service in their web page. So now when a user visits this web page, this will fetch the actual mining payload and start mining using visitors' computation power. Of course, the developer can adjust how much CPU should be used using these values. So 0.9 means 90% of CPU will be used. And they also have to specify the client ID, unique ID, so the in-browser mining service can keep track of that website's earnings. This led to proliferation of such in-browser mining services. And all these services take a part of mined coin as its fees and offload the responsibility to get the user's consent to the web developer. Okay, and the website owner, most of the times, they don't get the user's consent. We also seen the cases where the website owner is unaware of the fact that their website is mining cryptocurrency using visitors' computation power. These are the cases where the website is either compromised or using a third-party library which contains a mining payload in it. So we found similar case in our large-scale study. So this is a video streaming website that that enables this media player to be embedded on the other websites. What they did is they embedded a miner component in the media player itself. Now, all the website that embed this media player is mining for the video hosting website. Okay, so let me go through the threat model again to readjust the terminology used by the previous talker, so you know what I'm talking about. So the user visits a website. Unfortunately, that was a drive-by mining website. There was an orchestrator code in that, and that didn't ask users' consent, and started fetching the mining payload and started executing the mining payload in web worker threads. Now, this miner, which is being executed in the web worker thread, started communicating to the mining pool using Stratum communication protocol. The web worker thread used WebSockets to talk to this mining pool server. Since it's using the WebSocket, it has to go through the WebSocket proxy server. Now, it's the in-browser mining service who actually maintain this proxy server. They may be forwarding the request coming from the miner to a public mining pool, or they may be maintaining their own private mining pool. Okay, so first we studied Alexa's top 1 million website to answer these following questions. How prevalent is this threat? What are the evasion tactics they use? How much profit these websites make? And are there any different drive-by mining campaigns going on? And what are the common characteristics across these cases which we can use to detect them? Sorry. Okay, so to answer these questions, first we did the data collection by collecting data from Alexa top 1 million websites, and the crawler is configured in this way. So it visits 3 internal pages from the landing page, and it stays in this page for 4 seconds and did not simulate any we made sure it didn't simulate any interaction with the web page it's visiting, so that we are sure we didn't give any consent to use our computation power. So this is how the large-scale analysis setup looks like. So the web page, the crawler visit the web page and dump HTML page, JavaScript code, WebAssembly code, the communication that goes through WebSocket for every web page it visits. And finally, we ended up with 4.6 terabyte of raw data. Now, the analyzer kicks in, start analyzing the data it dumped for each web page. So first step is to identify the evidence of drive-by mining payload. So we compiled these keywords associated with these samples that we manually analyzed, and we were looking for these keywords in the dumped data. As a second step, we know they are using Stratum communication protocol. So we compiled the list of keywords associated with this communication protocol, and we were looking for these keywords in the communication log. We also did more filtering on top of this. You can read paper for more details. So finally, we ended up finding 1,735 drive-by mining websites. Of course, you might have missed one because we are visiting only 3 internal pages and missed some. And there might be cases it's been spread through advertisement networks, so it's hard to catch all these cases. Okay, so now let's try to answer what are the evasion tactics they use. So first, the orchestrator code, the mining code, is packed. So at runtime, it unpack itself and execute. Sometimes we have seen the cases where the orchestrator code is hard-coded. So at runtime, it is converted to strings and executed as JavaScript. We've seen obfuscation in the function names, variable names, the dead code injection, their URLs are randomized. usual obfuscation techniques, basically. So, and we also found 174 website is encoding the Stratum communication protocol itself, and the encoding they were using is base 64. We also seen the many websites are using anti-debugging tricks. So if user becomes suspicious why this website is too slow and start debugging it, the website just stop executing the code. We also seen cases where actually throttles the CPU usage, usually less than 25%, just to evade from the detection. Okay, so third question, how much profit do they make? So to find the actual money they make, it's really hard. It's impossible because it goes through the proxy server and doesn't communicate to the public mining pool directly. So we don't have the wallet IDs they're using. So what we did is we were looking at visitor statistics provided by SimilarWeb for each of these web page. So the SimilarWeb provides the statistics, like how many users are visiting the page, this website, through mobile device, laptop, and average time spent on this website. And we know all these try-by mining services, try-by mining websites were mining Monero coins. So value of Monero at the time of research was $253. Now the missing data is how much hashes its mobile devices and laptops can make. So to find that out, we had to benchmark various devices, and found out that modern mobile devices actually can generate 14.56 hashes per second, and laptops can generate 40.5 hashes per second. Now, using this data, we try to estimate how much profit these websites are making, and according to our estimation, the most profitable website was Tumanko Online. It's a video streaming website, and they make around $17,000. Now, according to SimilarWeb, the user spends around 18 minutes on average in this website. Okay, now the fourth question. How do we find out campaigns going on, here? So, if the try-by mining website is using an in-browser mining service, we know there is a unique client ID associated with a site key. So we clustered the identified sites on basis of this client ID, and this way we found 11 campaigns. So the most profitable campaign, according to our estimation, was making $31,000. Of course, we didn't capture all the website that belongs to that particular campaign, right? So we only crawled for Alexa's top 1 million, and there will be more websites involved in this. So this is like a tip of the iceberg. So this is the case which I explained earlier, where the miner was actually embedded in the media player itself. And there were 139 websites using the same media player. Okay, and we also seen the various torrent portals mining with the same key. We also seen the miner are distributed through advertisement networks. We also seen the cases where attacker managed to compromise website and inject the orchestrator code into it. Now, what if the try-by mining, websites are not using an in-browser mining service, but they are running their own WebSocket proxy server? To identify these cases, we clustered the websites on the basis of the WebSocket proxy server they are using. And using this method, we identified 9 more campaigns. Okay, now let's get to the last point. What are the commonalities across all these try-by mining cases? So the first thing is they are all mining CryptoNight based coin. The second commonality is that the CryptoNight is implemented in WebAssembly, so in highly optimized way, so it can maximize its profit, right? They can maximize its profit. And the third point was the use of web worker threads. So miners were executed in this web worker threads in the browser, and the web worker thread was using WebSocket. So we use the fact that they are all using mining CryptoNight based coins, and CryptoNight is implemented in WebAssembly to build a better detection tool, MineSweeper. So I'm not going to explain how CryptoNight algorithm works, but I would like to bring your attention to two core properties of this CryptoNight algorithm. The first one is this algorithm uses 5 generic cryptographic functions: KCAC, AES, Blake, Grostel, Skin. And the second core property is that it's a memory hard algorithm, means it initializes 2 MB memory in the beginning and use this 2 MB memory as a scratch pad. So there will be a lot of writes and reads on this 2 MB memory region to generate a valid hash. The idea is this memory region 2 MB fits in modern CPU cache, and that's why CryptoNight coins can be mined most efficiently in modern CPUs. And these ASIC devices doesn't have that big cache, so they work poorly when coming to mining CryptoNight based coins. So we use the first core property to identify whether a WebAssembly module is actually an implementation of CryptoNight. So we take this module, looks for presence of these cryptographic functions. So first we translate the WebAssembly module to linear WebAssembly code using WebAssembly binary toolkit. Then we get this. And now we can easily identify the functions that have loops and cryptographic operations like XOR, shift, rotate within this loop. Now if you count the number of loops and cryptographic instructions, we can actually identify what cryptographic function is that. Is that a SHA-3, AES, Blake, Grostel, or Skin? So let's evaluate this method. So we evaluated this. So we use this flag dump WebAssembly module in the Chrome browser and collected for 748 WebAssembly samples by crawling Alexa's 1 million websites. So this time we crawled only the landing page or first page. And when you use this flag, what happens is the Chrome dumps the WebAssembly module is executing. So, and this flag is not documented at all. So it was really pain in the ass to find this one. Yeah, make a note maybe. So even though we found 748 samples, there were only 40 unique samples in that, which means there are not many variants of CryptoNight implementation in WebAssembly. There are a lot of reuse going on. It makes sense. The CryptoNight has to be, the implementer has to be highly optimized to generate the hashes in most efficient way. So on the evaluation, we found that on 30 samples, we could able to find all the cryptographic functions, and they were in fact minors. Now, only for 4 samples, we couldn't find any of these functions, and there were benign cases. It also shows how good are the bad guys with catching up technologies. Okay, so now what if this WebAssembly module is highly obfuscated and bypass the first approach? Then we could use the second core property of CryptoNight algorithm itself, that is it induced a lot of cache events. So to evaluate this approach, we visited websites from these four categories: the actual crypto miners, the JavaScript based games, video players, and WebAssembly based games. On the y-axis, you can see number of cache events, and the x-axis you can see what kind of application it was. And the orange bar says how many L1 loads is happening, and gray bar shows how many L1 stores is happening. If we compare the events induced by the WebAssembly, induced by the miner and the WebAssembly game, you can see that miner is inducing almost 35 times more loads, and miner is inducing almost 16 times more stores. But the miner was running with using full CPU here. What if they throttle CPU usage to 20%? Even then, there is a clear signal. The miner is inducing almost 14 times more loads and 6 times more stores compared to the game application. Okay, so in conclusion, the drive-by mining is very profitable if the web page gets high traffic and if the user is spending more time in those web pages. And MineSweeper here exploits the two fundamental properties of CryptoNight to detect them. We shared the dataset with FTC and they're currently looking at this list of websites. The dataset and code will be soon available at this link. Thank you for listening, and I'll take questions now.
Okay, any questions? Maybe I can kick it off with one, or okay.
Very quick question. So I have a similar study that actually looks into the top million as well, and based on my observation, the scripts that are used for provided by CoinHive and oftentimes are injected into the website, they are of templates. There is only a limited number of templates that are provided, and given that a large number of those websites do not really have any sort of evasions, so what is the point of this elaborate technique that looks into lower level features for determining if this is cryptojacking or not? So do you have any insight into that?
Yeah, so currently there are not many variants of implementation of CryptoNight or miners, right? But maybe in future they might obfuscate, sacrificing little profit, and how do we detect them? So that's why we went for more core property like CPU cache events.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. You want to add to that?
Yeah. Yeah, we also actually saw that the dataset that we created was from my website that were not asking the consent, right? And those one were actually mostly, so only a small part of them was using CoinHive, where actually many other services, and those one were heavily obfuscated. So we saw that actually the one that are not asking for consent are actually applying obfuscation way more than actually the other websites that are benign.
Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you.
To kind of follow up a little bit about you said when you were crawling top million plus 3 subpages, you had around 1,700, I think, that you were identified as crypto miners.
Yes.
But then only 700 when you went to just the start page, right?
Around 800.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
right. And it was a different time period also.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so this much. I'm just wondering, did you look into kind of attributing where that code came from? Because if you consider that somebody might be kind of running ads on their website, that these ads might be kind of the malicious thing that the main website might not even know about the whole thing.
Yes.
Because it's happening in the admin.
So in the campaigns, we actually seen many campaigns where miners were spreading through advertisements, and we won't be capturing that every time we visit the page. So I had to be lucky, right, to capture those cases. That could be another case. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it would be interesting to kind of get a feeling to how much is first party cost and how much is third party cost, where maybe even the first party is not even aware that their site is actually mining cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, if you're asking for how much percentage, I don't have the number now. Yeah, but we can look it up, yes.
All right. Sounds good. Any further questions? Yep, this one.
Good presentation. I was wondering whether there is some relationship between the profitable and the popularity of a certain coin. Or because it seems like if a kind of altcoin the more popular it is, then it will be more profitable or have a higher price, but it's also too harder to mine, right?
Yeah.
So could you tell me there's some relationship, or what's your observation of this?
Okay, it's really good question. So even in CryptoNight, there are many coins that use this proof of algorithm, and Monero is basically the highest valued.
Yeah.
Everyone was everything else was below cents.
Yep.
So I think that was encouragement for the bad guys to mine Monero itself. And it might change in future if some other CryptoNight algorithm can be easily mined. They just switch to that.
Yeah.
And I could see a case where the bad guys will be constantly monitoring which coin is best to mine in this period and switching to that. It may happen. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Let's thank the speaker again then.
Thank you.